Well, hello and welcome to another Daily Dominion. It's Monday, so we have a mixture of the base game and in this case Cornucopia and Guilds, the second edition of that. And there are a few exciting cards in this kingdom that make it rather playable, especially for a Monday kingdom. And yeah, it looks like it's it's fun. Actually, it is fun. I have already played it earlier in a very short break, but I thought this one might also be fun to showcase in a video, so here we are. We have Infirmary as a treasure, which you can overpay to play immediately. Then there is Gardens for Alt VP. Important other cards here are Festival, which provides plus buy. We have Library as draw, especially nice with Festival, being able to reduce your hand size. Heralds for a village effect that can also essentially draw you the action card that they play if you manage to get thin and get a deck full of actions. Artisan also a nice gainer to grab some festivals, some libraries, super nice. Another form of draw is in the form of Footpad's passive ability, where when we gain cards in our action phase, we get +1 card. So if we play a Soothsayer gaining gold, or if our opponent plays Soothsayer and we receive or we gain a curse, then we will draw a card. Or if we, in this case, play Butcher, we trash a card and gain a card, then we also draw one. And also Artisan will draw us 1 card extra. And also, Footpad and Militia have the same attack. You need to discard down to 3 cards in hand, so could, in principle, mitigate the Soothsayer drawing 1 card off of the curse gain. But also, if you have Festival Library going, then you won't be phased by discard attacks too much anyways. So the goal here is going to be to get thin and yeah, may have an emphasis on getting rid of the coppers via infirmaries, getting rid of the estates via butchers and also infirmaries, I suppose. And then yeah, build a nice engine consisting of lots of festivals, some artisans, some libraries, and heralds. I don't think we will go for Footpad and Militia, unless, well, we can fit them in easily, but they're not too much of a concern. Footpad is a bit nicer than Militia here, I guess, because the 2 coffers can also be used by Butcher to turn one of our cards into an even better card, because Butcher is not limited by a two money or 2 coin cost difference. But yeah, I think our main goal is really to get this festival artisan library stuff going and weave in a few heralds for extra village effects and then see. Artisan can help set up the next turn, although I'm not super sure what you top deck here. Probably it's libraries later on. But if you know you have a bunch of festivals in deck, but I think it also kind of depends on the deck composition. But yeah, all of this is just a pipe dream as long as we aren't thin. So really, it's important to thin here, especially with heralds, with library. All of these cards like having a lean deck. So yeah, maybe let me show the kingdom plot here. As I said, or as I didn't say, well, there's plus buy here in festival. I definitely mentioned that. The village in the form of festival and herald. Library is the draw, Herald is also draw, Footpad is also draw, and gains an artisan. Attacks are strong here, although if you can thin out the curses in time with that you gain from Soothsayer attacks, I don't think they are going to be too bad, and also the militia attack, the Footpad attack isn't that much of a concern here, as long as you have a Festival Library combo in your starting hand. Now, opening wise, I think the 4-3 is quite nice. You get to overpay turn 1 and shuffle in the infirmary on turn 2. And then to a lesser extent you can do the same with 3-4, although there you will only shuffle in the silver you bought on turn 1, and you also have the risk of drawing the silver dead, which might be a bit on the sad side, but in both cases you will get to trash an estate immediately and have a rather short shuffle afterwards. The 5-2 is also great. You get to trash 2 cards. Hopefully you'll find your one of well, you have 3 estates down there then, and I'll thus on the first draw 3 out of 5, and then 2 out of 5 if you have already drawn 2 out of 4. 1 out of 2, I guess, if you've already drawn the first estate. So you're quite likely to at least trash 1 estate there. And then I don't know what you do on the turn 2. If you hit 4, you might go for Militia or Herald already, just to get some money in the deck. The Militia might be okay, but also if Silver early on is fine, just to hit 5 for Butcher, for Festival, and then maybe 6 for an Artisan or something like that. The 2-5 is, I think, the worst here, but still just opening Butcher isn't all too bad. Then hopefully have a good Infirmary overpay and pair the Butcher up with Estates, and you should be golden. Now, that finishes up the discussion, I guess, and we can start playing. So let's overpay this Infirmary. We do not find the Infirmary here, which would have been preferred, of course. And we also only hit 3, and we might only get to trash a copper next turn, but I think it's fine. We could even think about not trashing here and just buying a 5-cost card, although we will hit 5 next turn with the 2 estates. No, we won't hit 5 next turn, actually. Yeah, that's rather annoying. So I am considering just going for a Butcher here, and then maybe get a second Infirmary overpay in here. We are 1 in 7 to draw the Butcher dead, but I think the upsides are still quite good if we don't do that. So let's go for this. We trigger a shuffle. Now here we could think about trashing the copper, but with 2 Infirmaries, the Butcher does have another target that, so for now we can keep the copper. Yeah, exactly. Here we get to just buy 2 Heralds, or we could buy Herald Festival, but I think just already stocking up on Heralds is best. I don't think we need to top deck it yet. They top decked anyways, which is great. And we do get to immediately play an Infirmary. Now here we don't have any actions down there anymore, so do we want to? Well, I think we want to trash in any case, and this Butcher could get rid of the copper in favor of a silver, or we could just not do anything. Or we could turn the silver into an Artisan and buy another silver. It would clear off the estate off the top there, because the next turn doesn't look all too great. Yeah, what other options do we have? We could just turn the silver into a herald and buy a herald. Also doesn't sound too bad. And then we can later on get the artisan. Yeah, this is kind of a crossroads, I suppose. Do we want to go for a greedier play and go for an artisan here, or do we just go for more herald? Or actually, the silver could become a festival, and then we can still buy a herald, or vice versa. The festival would maybe help us to hit stuff for artisan. So, or we just go for artisan, and it's nah. I think we want more heralds in our deck. So festival it is. I am tired of thinking about this too much longer. And we do find this Butcher here, which is amazing, as we will get to double Herald again. Although we could also just buy an Artisan. We have 2 Heralds down there, but I think let's secure the Herald split at first and then see where we go from there. And unfortunately, we do not find any other good stuff, but we have heralds down there, so now is the time to pick up an artisan. Yeah, AI did get a lot of heralds and isn't doing all too bad, I suppose. We could artisan for something like the library here. I think we're just not quite there yet. Um, yeah, I wonder whether we go for what am I doing? Whether we go for festival here. We do have one more festival down there, so maybe just play this herald and yeah, just top deck. Actually, what do we top deck now? It's all not looking all too great, just because the other card down there should be just a copper. Maybe we just go for a festival, or we could also attack AI here with a footpad. Doesn't look all too bad either. And in that case, we could turn one of the coppers into something more useful, like a silver. Oh, do we want that? These decisions are rather tough. I think we're fine just sticking more festival into our deck and um, yeah, be off to the races. I'm considering just milling a copper here, to be honest, to get rid of one of the coppers on top of the deck there. I think that makes sense. We don't have any nice thing to gain off the butcher anyways, but yeah, going for this allows us to have one fewer junk card on top of our deck. Now here I think a second artisan is fine and should be good. Now let's hope we do draw this turn, otherwise we might be in a bit of trouble. AI is doing a good job building there. We do find something that can get us a library, which is amazing. And now here, I guess we can play the artisan. We could play the artisan first. It doesn't matter if I'm playing the artisan. Usually would reduce our hand size, but here it doesn't. So I guess we might as well first play the library to keep all of our action cards in hand. Down there we still have the butcher. I think the goal for this turn is to get rid of all of the coppers, for which we will probably overpay for another infirmary. And thus we can just trash this infirmary with the butcher and gain yet another artisan. Yeah, I think we have the stuff down there to justify that. We will be able to hit it with the herald, and we can gain maybe another festival. It doesn't matter what we top deck. We can gain yet another. I think we just gain festivals or butchers. But yeah, festivals do sound quite nice. Could also be a library. We are going to overpay this turn anyway, so we won't top deck anything useful. But um, yeah, I like going just ham on those festivals because, well, they are going to enable our artisans to function properly, find libraries and all of this good stuff. So yeah, here we can just end our actions, overpay 5, and be done with the turn. And yeah, that sounds good. Get rid of all of those coppers, get another infirmary as a target for the butcher, and yeah, just trash 5 coppers here, get super clean. And oh, I'm sorry that the block stopped scrolling there. I didn't notice that. I hope you got the gist of the last turn. Yeah, here we can simply discard Infirmary Butcher. Of course, it would have been fine have to have kept some of this hand, but yeah, I think this turn we should really pop off. The Butcher can turn the Infirmary into another Artisan, and could gain another butcher as well. But yeah, AI is also doing crazy stuff, so we for sure need to be on our toes that we don't get piled on. Actually, this might be a win already. With only 4 butchers and 4 festivals left, we have 3 artisans. We could gain, and also the estates are low. They are at 8, but we might be able to buy them out if we were to get some of those. Um, Actually, maybe we shouldn't have discarded the infirmary because it would be pretty annoying if one of our heralds would find it and play it. Um, hmm. But yeah, I think we need to play these heralds anyway. So if worst comes to worst, then we can just butcher some heralds. I think we have the overdraw here, and yeah, this is looking quite good. We are able to just gain. Now, let's think this through. We have the 3 artisans, which could gain us 3 festivals. The butcher can turn whatever into another festival. So we will pile those out, and then we have, yeah, we already have 16 money, right? We have 8 festivals then, which we can use to, yeah, to buy out the estates. It's straightforward as that, like that. Now, yeah, we can, I guess, artisan first for those festivals. I don't think it matters. Um, could also, I think we could pile on butchers and estates. I guess the butcher pile out would yield a bit more money in the end. Um, I think we can weave in one more butcher there. Just try getting rid of one of the heralds. And wow, did I just, ouch. I just completely bungled this. Wow, I did not pay attention to the action situation, and because Artisan drew me a card, I mean, I did have the festivals in hand, and I think I'm going to, well, play this out, probably lose, but actually I'm going to make this undo, to be honest. Luckily, I've already played this. This would, of course, fail me the daily challenge. So what you can learn from this is pay attention to everything while you're playing. But yeah, this was stupid enough, and I know that I would have been able to pile out anyways. In any case, I think so. Uh, with just a bit more concentrated play. And here we can play this Herald first to trash the infirmary into a butcher, which we can draw. This can become another festival. This can also become another festival. And there we go. We have the 16 money. But man, now I gotta leave this in the video and it's gonna be embarrassing like that. But well, is this even the best ways to score here? If we pile out butchers and just go for double gardens, it's not more points, right? No. I think, yeah. Anyways, that was highly embarrassing, and I'm very happy I did this recording as an afterthought. But what we can learn from this is, well, pay attention to your action situation. Actually, let's check out whether, well, let's show the decks first. So we just had this very lean deck of a lot of artisans, butchers, and heralds. Even only just one library, but we didn't need that much draw because we had this very thin deck with a nice infirmary overpay, and AI had this also rather nice deck with a lot of capabilities. And I wonder, I'm sure AI would have been able to finish us off there if we hadn't, if we had played it out with that mistake. So I believe it was here. This was where I gained the butcher and just, yeah, this was utterly stupid. So we would have only been able to gain one estate. Let's see whether AI would have finished this off. Pretty sure. Well, it's going for provinces, so I think we would have had a chance. Yeah, I don't think it saw the pileout capabilities. And I think we can play on here, but AI does go for quadruple province, so I think we still would be in quite a lot of trouble here. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how we would approach this. Probably try to go for the provinces as well, for which we would need a couple of butchers that turn our stuff into those juicy provinces. Yeah, let's try. Let's see whether we would have been able to handle the AI here. And actually, maybe the best thing to go about this would be we need fodder for the provinces, so I think we just play one of the butchers for nothing, then turn this herald into something, then turn this festival into something. But before we do that, we need to grab a library and draw a bit. So we cannot actually turn this festival into something. Yeah, I wonder whether we have the capabilities of actually going through with those 4 provinces here. It might be tough. Yeah, especially if we, yeah, with the action situation. I think we need to get rid of this library, and then we need to double province somehow. And to facilitate this, well, I don't think we have the monies. There's still this infirmary, which I forgot about, of course. So we would only be able to turn this into a duchy and then double duchy, and AI would finish this off. Wow. I'm convinced that or I'm not convinced, but I'm half certain that there might be a win in this turn. Maybe if we play it out differently from this point on. The problem is just this, yeah, that it's a bit on annoying set. I don't know whether we have enough, gains and enough money to finish this. What happens if we just go for the provinces immediately, trashing those artisans? Then we don't have another. We do have another butcher, and immediately we would have won. Wow, I guess that would be the way to win this one. But it wasn't full. I'm not sure whether it was fully guaranteed. I think this Herald also had some nice reveals there. But yeah, in any case, I think I take the first win with a bit more concentrated play. I'm happy that it happened on a day where I did have the power to undo the last thing. I hope you don't mind me showcasing this way of winning. But yeah, I don't know. The recording is already at 24 minutes, so I'm going to stop here and I will try to catch you in the next one, whenever that might be. Until then, goodbye.